What's up, Elite Video Marketers? In this episode, I'm breaking down the work of one of the best video marketers on the internet. He has worked for Gary Vee and is now the creative director for Alex Hormozi. His name is Caleb Ralston, and I'm pumped to share his strategies and techniques with you. This episode is sponsored by InhouseVideographer.com, but we'll learn about them a little bit later in the show. All right, so Caleb Ralston worked for Gary Vaynerchuk as one of his videographers, as one of the documenters on his team, and one of the wicked fast editors. He has been quoted in interviews to say one of the things that he prides himself on is his speedy editing skills. He initially got the job with Gary Vee by emailing D-Rock many times over. He was persistent. He made catchy subject lines of those emails and got D-Rock's attention, and ultimately his work was impressive enough for him to be hired onto the PureWow team and then eventually moved over to the Team Gary Vee. Caleb was one of 5 of Gary Vee's videographers, and one of the things that really jumped out to me when I've heard him speak about his time working with Gary is he wasn't at all precious with the content. There was a point where Gary published a 6.5-hour vlog, and that vlog is one that Caleb shot. Now, as videographers, we tend to cut out the fluff of a video and just get rid of dead space, maybe eliminate or slice a weird pan or a shaky camera motion here or there. In that 6.5-hour vlog, Caleb essentially left everything in, which number one is a super vulnerable position as a creative to put out this work that is so unpolished. But number two, that had to be the best tool for him to really just say, F it. I'm putting this out there. What does it matter if everything that his audience sees isn't absolutely immaculately perfect? You can see in this vlog various portions where he does a pan several times to get the right one because he doesn't know until the end of the day that they're just going to leave everything in the final cut. A panic moment? Sure. But ultimately, I think that's a great lesson to keep in mind for you and your video content. Not everything that you publish has to be perfect. As I mentioned earlier, Caleb prides himself on being a wicked fast editor. That's actually one of the things that got D-Rock's attention early on before he even joined Team Gary Vee. Was one of the subject of the email lines that Caleb used was Usain Bolt editor, in parentheses, I'm fast, with a winky face. First of all, very smart. Secondly, editing video is hard enough, but if your process is streamlined enough to make it a quick edit, that is so insanely valuable. I know I've been training videographers for the past 5 years. I myself have gotten my own editing techniques down to essentially a science at this point, but you can always be better. If you want to learn how to improve your own editing techniques and become a better, faster editor, you should check out our sponsor for this episode, InhouseVideographer.com. InhouseVideographer.com is the #1 training platform for videographers on the internet. If you want to learn how to level up your video content, create a magnetic brand, and produce content that actually generates leads and sales and retains clients for longer, this is the course for you. Check it out at InhouseVideographer.com. When Caleb went to work with Alex Hormozi, he was initially going to be hired as just a videographer, but it made more sense for the Hormozi clan to hire him as a creative director because with the volume of content that they want to produce, Alex Hormozi has been quoted in past interviews saying that he has Gary Vee as one of the models that he's working for with his content plan. What better way to build your business and to model yourself after Gary Vee than by hiring one of his past team members? So Caleb was hired as the creative director for Alex and Layla Hormozi. He manages the content team, makes sure every single piece is unified and makes sense for their own brand's messaging and style. And I gotta say, Caleb has such a distinct style of editing and of creative direction that it is very clear why his content for Gary Vee did so well and why now Alex Hormozi and Layla Hormozi are seeing massive growth on their social channels. One of the main things that Caleb has integrated into their content strategy is punching up the captions that they use in the videos. If you come across any of their social content, you will be able to get the exact message of the video really quickly, really easily, not by the actual audio, but by the text on screen. Sure, anyone can use captions in a video, but the Hormozi social editors do a really, really good job of making the captions more engaging than just boring text at the bottom of the screen. They push them out at different angles and they use emojis to assist in the messaging and the tone. Caleb just gets short form vertical video better than almost anyone on the internet right now. It is amazing to see what he and his team produce for the Hormozis, and I highly recommend checking the back catalog of Gary Vee's content when he was working for him. The other thing that Caleb does with Alex and Layla is he clearly batch shoots a lot of content. This means that they probably sit down for, my guess would be between 2 to 4 hours, and they shoot anywhere from 20 to 40 clips that can be used and repurposed across all social channels. This gets easier the more times that you do it. At Piper Creative, we have been batch shooting our content for years. Usually we pick 2 days out of the week and we will shoot all of our short form vertical videos on those 2 days. Batch shooting can really come in handy if you already have a packed schedule. You know that you can dedicate an hour or 2 hours just once a week to get all of your ideas out onto video. You can always clean up any stumbles in post, but just talking to the camera on one particular subject or idea for 90 seconds, that is absolute gold, especially with the way that YouTube is pushing shorts, the way that the TikTok algorithm works. All you want to do is produce enough content to remain consistent on these platforms and also get all of your thoughts out in a genuine, authentic manner. Batch shoots really, really help with this. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and thank you to our sponsor, InhouseVideographer.com. If you're interested in leveling up your skills as a videographer and maybe becoming a Caleb Ralston yourself, check out the course at InhouseVideographer.com, and I'll catch you in the next episode.